Hello students, in this session you will learn the OOP in C# or the object-oriented programming in C#. First of all, let's understand what is the object-oriented programming in C#. In general, object-oriented programming it's a programming concept, not a programming language. And concept means that the way of writing the code. OOP is a programming concept that relies on the concept of the classes and objects. The classes we already covered in the last session, and now we understand what are the classes. But what about the objects? What are the objects? The object is simply a copy of the class, or we can say the object is an isolated instance of the class. Imagine now if we have a student class and the student class contains its own data and its own members, like student name, student email, etc. So if I want to create an object from the student class, this means that I want to take a copy from the student class, but this copy will be isolated and it will contain the same data and the same member which already in the class student. The object-oriented programming it's used to organize and structure a software program into simple reusable pieces of code. That's why we said the OOP is a programming concept and it is a way of writing the code. Finally, using the OOP, my code or our code will be organized and structured in reusable way, and the code will be separated into pieces of code, and this allows the developer to work in more easier way in the software program. As I mentioned, the OOP relies on the concept of the class and object. Now, briefly, let's understand the difference between the class and the object. Simply, we can say the class is a template for object, while the object is an instance of a class, but it is an isolated or separated instance of the class. Let's visualize this. Now, let's say we have a class called student, and the class student contains its own members and data. Let's say that student class contains name, email, and function. If I want to create an object from this class, this means I will have a copy of this class. The object will contain also the same data which already in the student class. So the object will contain also the same data and same members of the template, which is the class, student class. Now, let's see how we can create an object in C#. To create an object, simply, you need to define like a variable of type the class, which we are going to instantiate an object from the class. Here, we are using the student class and we need to create an object from the student class. So, we will define the variable, for example, std object. Here you can change the name as you want, but this name or this variable, the data type of this variable is a student class. And then we can say equal new student, and we should open the parentheses and close it and then end the statement by semicolon. This is simply how we can create an object from a class.